long before voters decide in November who will control the House, the Senate, and 36 governor's seats across the country. The most wide-open primary season in decades will plunge the nation's two major political parties into historic battles over who they are. The long-anticipated 2018 midterm elections are rapidly approaching, a referendum on President Donald Trump and the GOP majority, and a gauge of Americans' expectations of government. But first, the parties and their voters must chart a course through their nominating contests. Between March 6 in Texas and September 18 in Massachusetts, thousands of contenders, Republican and Democrat, will compete at every level of elected office below the presidency for the chance to appear on the ballot in November. Races Democrats once left uncontested are now brimming with candidates. Races in which Republicans had hoped to clear the field have grown crowded. And the power of national parties, on both sides, to moderate the conflicts remains low, as populist passions roil both the liberal and conservative grassroots. On the Republican side, contests will test the power of the establishment over a restless base, with conservative disruptors and donors seeking to upset the current balance of power within the party, and with Trump serving as an erratic referee. Some races that give Republicans the best chance to pick up seats have become GOP mud fights, while in others, the threat of incumbent defeats could complicate the party's ability to retain its majorities in the fall. When you Democrats are mired in their own conflicts. How, if at all, should they campaign against Trump? How do they balance the liberal agenda of the party's base, on health care, impeachment, or minimum wage, for instance, against the clamor among some Democrats to figure out how to connect with voters who supported Trump? The sheer, historic volume of candidates, particularly among Democrats, tells part of the tale. The surge is most apparent in contests for the House of Representatives, where, through the end of September, 455 Democratic challengers had already registered with the Federal Election Commission, more than twice as many than at any other point in the last 15 years, according to an analysis by the Campaign Finance Institute. By comparison, only 111 Republican challengers had filed to raise money. White college graduates in America's suburbs have turned hard against Republicans in elections around the country and threatened to upend the party's control of Congress in the 2018 midterm elections. Put off by Donald Trump's presidency, they have been shunning Republicans in congressional and state. White college graduates in America's suburbs have turned hard against Republicans in elections around the country and threatened to upend the party's control of Congress in the 2018 midterm elections. Put off by Donald Trump's presidency, they have been shunning Republicans in congressional and state. The outcome of these contests, a warm-up for a general election that will decide control of the House and Senate as well as state houses, will help define the priorities and leaders of both parties in advance of the 2020 presidential campaign. And over the next 8 months, hundreds of millions of dollars will be spent to winnow the fields.